Hi everybody, and welcome again to ZCode System. Here we develop automated systems to help you win. It doesn't matter what sport you're betting on, we've got you covered. We're going to get into some NBA action for February 2nd as the All-Star break's approaching, but before we do, I'm going to invite you to join VIP Club section. You'll have access to all of these great tools to help you make your picks. Okay, so there's 4 games scheduled for the 2nd. Let's get started right away with these. Houston Rockets and Indiana Pacers. The Rockets come in burning hot, 4th in the Western Conference, 4-2 over the last 6. Indiana last in the Eastern Conference, ice cold down 2-4 over the last 6, although they have won 2 out of their last 3. If you look at the over-under, interestingly enough, Houston is under in 5 out of the last 6, and Indiana is over in 2 out of the last 3, but under in general over the last 6. Head-to-head, it was Houston winning by 7 back on December 29th at home. They were huge favorites. You see the odds were 1.13 to 7.39. On the Power Ranks indicator, not a surprise here either, as Houston's at plus 25. Indiana, although on an upward climb, still very low at plus 7. Take a look at a couple other things. We'll see that there's a big scoring differential edge of plus 6.1 to minus 8 in favor of Houston. And Houston is solid at 13-13 on the road, and Indiana has been just very bad in general, and 9-16 at home. I think this is going to be a pretty easy win for Houston, and we'll take a look at one more thing here, the volatility oscillator. You can see here on the consistency factor, Indiana is more consistent with regard to their favorite underdog status, plus 21 to plus 11. And that makes a lot of sense because they are underdog in most games and they have been losing most of their games. So let's go with Houston in this one, probably by double digits in a game under the line. Okay, now we're going to go to Charlotte, where the Hornets are going to be hosting the Pelicans. New Orleans come in ice cold down. They're 3-3 over the last 6. You can see Charlotte is burning hot, winners of 5 out of the last 6 games. Take a look here at the over-under, and the teams have been involved in games under the line in 9 out of the last 12, and New Orleans 5 out of the last 6. The score prediction has Charlotte by 3 with a confidence of 73%. So that's actually a relatively high level of confidence this far out, 3 days out, actually 2 days out at the time of this recording. On the Power Ranks indicator, you can see Charlotte is at plus 11. On a downward trend, and New Orleans on an upward trend. They went from 2 to 6. In the head-to-head matchup, it was back in November the 4th, it was New Orleans by 4 as a home favorite in that one. Let's take a look at the volatility oscillator, the consistency factor. And you can see New Orleans very, very stable. Look at this, nearly upward linear trend. I mean, a little up and down here and there, but pretty linear trend here on upward path of, and they're at plus 32, while the Hornets are at plus 17. So both teams pretty consistent regarding their favorite underdog status. See here, the Hornets are 9-13 at home, but the Pelicans are really bad on the road. They're just 5-18 on the road, and there's a scoring differential edge here of nearly 8 points in favor of the Hornets. I like the Hornets to win this one, but I'm going to pass on the over-under bet. Okay, going to the next game, Minnesota and Memphis. Both teams have been struggling. You can see dead up for Minnesota. Memphis ice cold down, although Minnesota has won their last 3, and they're 7th in the Western Conference, while Memphis has fallen out of the playoff picture, at least for the time being. If you look at the over-under, it's been under the line in 7 out of the last 12 games combined. If you look at the score prediction here, it's very close, 123-122, but the confidence in the prediction is very low at only 41% at the time. So take a look at that as it gets closer to game time. On the Power Ranks indicator, you can see Minnesota on a steep upward trend from plus 12 up to plus 23. That's because of their recent 3-game winning streak, and Memphis here is at plus 5. See if the teams played earlier in this season. On the head-to-head matchup scale, we see here it was on December 25th. It was actually Memphis as a pretty heavy road underdog winning by 6. So that was a clear upset in that game, 116 to 110. We take a look at the power ranks indicator, and we just did that, so I don't need to do that again. Let's take a look at the volatility oscillator. The stability factor shows both teams pretty consistent. Look at this, and even the trend line has been pretty consistent, up and down, almost at the same time. It's pretty weird how this is playing out. Nearly the same lines. Memphis at plus 20 and Minnesota plus 18. So we got a couple other things we want to look at here. We see that the Timberwolves have a 7-point scoring differential edge. Yeah, and really, there's really not a whole lot more to look at with these two teams. I think it's really just going to be a fact that Minnesota has the better team overall, even though they're playing on the road, and they want to get back from the first one where they lost at home. So I like Minnesota in this one, and it's going to be in a game under the line. Okay, the last one we wanted to look at is Philadelphia heading to Los Angeles to play the Clippers. Philadelphia average status, they are 3-3 over the last 6. The Clippers are burning hot 4-2 over the last 6. And both teams are in the middle of the playoff picture in their respective conferences. The Clippers have the score prediction is for the Clippers by 2 points. Confidence is only 65% at the moment. The over/under is dead even. 3-3 for Philadelphia, 3-3 for the Clippers over the last 12. So that makes it hard to pick the over/under, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Head-to-head wise, they met back on November the 17th, and Philadelphia won by 2 as a home favorite. On the power ranks indicator, 76ers are above at plus 19, and you can see the Clippers have been steady for the last about a week here at plus 16. Take a look at the stability factor. Once again, we will see that both teams are even at plus 14. That means they're both fairly consistent regarding their favorite underdog stats. Let's take a look at a couple other things here. A narrow scoring differential edge for Philadelphia at plus 0.7 to minus 0.4. So you can see this is very even. The Sixers are 12-8 on the road, very similar to the Clippers' record of 13-9 at home. Yeah, I think this is going to be the Clippers game only because they're at home. It's going to be a very tight game, and I'm going to pass on the over/under bet. So there you have it. Those are the games for the NBA for February the 2nd. Happy betting, and see you next time.